Hi, welcome back to Azure Pig Farm, your smart pig farms that's trusted for practical, profitable, and stress-free pig farming tips. Now, today's topic is one that a lot of farmers, especially in Africa, Nigeria specifically, struggle with: how to handle a problematic farmhand whom you cannot easily sack. And so, if you think that this is something that can help your farm, I want you to pay rapt attention and then stick through to the end of the video. So a problematic farmhand is one whom you cannot easily sack, because so keeping this problematic farmer around affects your profits, affects your feed and all that. But sacking him introduces a much bigger problem for your farm. How do you navigate this thin rope to ensure that your farm is still profitable at the end of the day? We're going to look at all these in this video, so please hang on. And if you've had such experiences too, I'm sure that my solutions may not cover everything. So if you've had such experiences too, and there is something that you have done that has helped your farm, I would be grateful if you can share it in the comments, because I would want to introduce as much of a watertight control system for my farm to run successfully as I would want to. So if you're also looking to enhance your farm, then let's go on this ride together. So if your farm hand is sort of the landlord on your rented farm, you already know the risks. Animals may not be fed on time. Feed can be wasted. There can be petty thefts and a host of other nefarious activities that can eat into your profit. But if you sack this person, then now the security of your animals come into question, because you don't know what sabotage, you don't know how your farm can be sabotaged by this farmhand who let go. So how do you do all these things? We're going to first talk about how to quietly and systematically take control of your farm. Since your farmhand lives on the farm, you cannot easily sack him. He has access to your feed and all that because he has to feed the animals. And so what you can do is to begin to introduce record keeping, to monitor how much feed is given to your animals and then measure results by it. This way you can tell whether the animals are actually being fed or not, based on the results that you are showing, that you are recording. And so, for example, if you know that an animal has to eat a small bucket full of let's say feed, and you prepare the feed for a period, you measure that number of bucket feeds of feed into a particular place, and then maybe daily you come and then you check what is left of what has been done, and that gives you a general idea. And once your farmhand sees that this is being monitored, they will begin to take precautionary steps. Even if they are looking at using your feed elsewhere, they will begin to realize that they are taking note of it, and so they become more cautious. That reduces the amount of wastage or thefts that are going to happen on your farm. Now, the next thing that I think you should invest in is feeding, automatic feeding troughs. So when you have an automatic feeding trough and these feeding troughs are filled with the feed of the animal, then you know how long this feed lasts. So anytime you come, you can tell. So when you fill that trough, you know it could take you for 2 or 3 days before it runs out. Then your animals, you are also sure, are well catered for the 2 or 3 days before you come around. Now, other feed that has not been opened will not be opened. but it is easier for feed quantity to reduce once the feed bag has been opened. So investing in feed troughs goes a long way to help you in saving your farm feed wastage and theft. Now, if you are investing in automatic feeding troughs, you have to make sure that you invest in good ones that don't waste feed. Because I have done some feeding troughs in the past, and I've realized that once I come, all the feed has been poured on the ground by the animals and fed from the floor. Now, this happens due to poor design, and over the period I have learned to adjust the design, and it has helped greatly. And so you should look at introducing feeding troughs to your farm. Now, the next thing is that if you are not going to be around, it is dicey. You can let your farmhand know you are not going to be around, but the problems it causes can be very great. Let me give you an example. I traveled recently. I had purchased feed, and we had made feed that was supposed to last for 14 days. That's 2 weeks for the farm. And then this feed was brought on Saturday, and then I traveled. Now, by Tuesday, that's 3 days after we brought the feed, I received a message that the feed that I had bought was finished. It was, I was very angry, and I really didn't know how to go about it. You see, but if the farmer knew, like I often do, if he didn't know that I had traveled, and he knew that I could come up or come around anytime like I often do, this feed could have taken me much longer. So it's a balance. There are times that you need to tell them, but if you are going to tell him, then you should give him specific instructions and let him know that there is a way you have to monitor these things. Then you can be sure that at least you can go with a piece of, you can be away with some peace of mind. But this really affected me, because when I came back, my animals had grown very lean, and animals that were growing very fast have become very, very lean and long, and as if animals that have not been fed for a year. It's amazing. I entered here, and the noise I heard, when animals are hungry, the sight of a human being will make them start squeaking and squealing and making noise. And so this was very terrible for me. Now, as much as possible, try to avoid hard confrontations, because you are not on your farm. You can slowly take control. You don't need to fight. Sometimes you may have to raise your voice, but oftentimes this doesn't help, because in your absence, a lot of things can be done. What if you are called and you are told that an animal is dead? You don't know what killed the animal. And even if you come and you realize that the animal was beaten to death, there is nothing you can do, because you don't know who beat the animal to death. Do you see? And so avoid strong confrontation. Find a way, try to introduce perks and benefits when you see good behavior. So when you realize that behavior is good, you can come, maybe a bowl of gari for the family, maybe some 2K, urgent 2K over here and there. It helps. But when you are doing it, let it be clear that you are doing it because you saw an improvement in behavior. Don't just do it because you are being nice. Because if you don't mention it, it will become something so much expected from your farmhand. Let me give you an example. So on this farm, what happened in the past was that when the animals gave birth, and then by the time I was weaning, I'll just tell my farmhand that, this male animal is yours. So after weaning, he takes it away to do whatever he wants to do with the animal. But then, for the whole of October, I have had to be the one feeding the animal myself. My farmhand didn't come. A lot of the evenings, I had to be present doing the feeding and everything myself. When we had what do you call it? We had sows, litter, piglets, and we had a lot of piglets on the farm, and I had to do the work myself. Could you believe that I was there recently, and then my farmman just called me and said, "Oh, you haven't given me an animal." Meanwhile, his negligence had cost me about 6 animals, the life of 6 animals. His negligence had cost me the life of 6 piglets. And he had the effrontery to call me and ask me whether that I hadn't given him an animal this time round, as if it was a right. So I think that going forward, anything I want to do for him must be tagged to behavior. That's the cue I'm taking from this. If I am giving you something, I have to tag it to a behavior. I'll let you know that I'm doing this because you did this well. And so if you didn't do it well, don't expect to have it. Do you see? I think that would help. I'm still learning. And if you have had ways to solve these issues on your farm, I would like you to share it in the comments so that we know, because I really want to build a system that runs without me. I don't have to be present for my farm to run, because I'm not looking for another job. I'm looking for a business to run. Now you can get another eye from the vicinity to just go and check on your animals for you when you are not around, and get them to take videos or get them to take pictures and then send to you so that you can know what is happening on your farm. And when you have this, your farmhand knows that there are people watching out, there are spies that are watching him, so they will be very careful with that. And it shouldn't be too much to do this. You can have a friend in the area, let him do this for you, tip him once a while. You know, that tipping that you do may not really, it may save you a lot on your farm. And so just find somebody who can go to the farm, check, take pictures of every stall, every animal. The only downside is that is the security, is the biosecurity risks. You know, but if you have a farm where the spy can stand outside and take pictures of every animal on the farm, I think that works great. You should be able to work on this farm. So this is something I am looking at doing for my farm. Now the next plan for me is that you should have or map out a plan for your exit strategy. You know, not a strategy to quit your farm, but a strategy to move on to a place that you own and control. Now, if you've been on this channel for some time, you will notice that I had mentioned earlier that I had bought a place I'm planning to move to. But it's terrible. You know, I bought a land from a real estate company, and I almost feel that they are trying to extort money from me. And so this is about to get legal. And so, yes, but you should always look for an exit strategy. Plan your exit, you know, because you cannot perpetually run a farm for someone who you can't perpetually run a farm for someone and barely make profit, while the other person who is supposed to be working for you is ripping you off and making a lot of gains from that. Now, this bonus tip is very important. You should build systems, not dependence, which means a system is able to run with you present or not. And then that is very crucial, because once you have a system running, you can do everything you're doing, and your farm is also running very well. Now, systems have to do with record keeping, proper measurements, record keeping, proper measurements, the following of cycles, you know, and getting this to run smoothly helps your farm greatly. And I believe that every pig farmer should get to the point where they have adequate systems that flow, you know, adequate systems that flow without hitches, so that your farm is not dependent on your farmhand or dependent on any other thing. You should have feed sourcing systems, you should have breeding systems, you should have weighing systems, you should have feeding systems. Everything should be channeled or converted into a system so that it could run without you. Now, have you ever had a farmhand you couldn't sack? let me know what worked for you. It would help me because I'm still trying to build the system. This is my second year into pig farming and I haven't mastered everything yet. I'm still learning as I go on. I'm still improving on my profitability. And so I want to know what worked for you so that I'll see how I can introduce it into my farm. Thank you very much for always coming around and also share this with other pig farmers. I'm sure that others are having problems similar to mine and this video could help them. So until then, peace.